Welcome back to my series, Dance Mums Uncovered. When people describe a stage mum, they're often referring to mothers who shove their children into the spotlight, pressuring them to over-rehearse in the hopes that they will eventually provide for the adults around them. The term is also closely tied to mums who are entitled and who love conflict. Which of the mums on Dance Mums showed signs of these behaviours? Because there is more to the mums' motivations than the producers cared to show. Feel free to share your thoughts on the following evidence. First, let's look at over-rehearsing. Even though the kids on Dance Mums had busier schedules than most working adults, some of their mothers made them do extra rehearsals and training throughout the week. According to the original mums of the show, Sophia's mother, Jackie Lucia, used to wake up her daughter sometime between 3 and 4:30 every morning and stretch her for 2 hours. Sophia herself says that her mum used to sit on her every day to stretch her until she cried. Sophia says that at the age of 4 she was dancing 5 hours each day. When she reached 7, she was dancing 25 hours a week. And by the time she began training in classical ballet, she was dancing for 60 hours a week.
Do you guys remember the one mom who we all met? She would get her child up at 3 and 4 a.m. for stretching.
Oh, yes.
It was 4:30 in the morning and Jackie stretched her and she said she would cry.
Fun fact, guys, my mom used to sit on me and stretch me for 2 hours until I cried every day.
I would be at the dance studio from like 3.5 or 4 for like 4 hours a day. And by the time I was 7, I was dancing, I think, 25 hours a week. When I moved to Arizona and I was training in classical ballet, 50 hours a week.
Melissa has admitted that her daughters used to take extra ballet classes 3 times a week at 8:30 in the morning. They used to rehearse in their home dance room. Even once school began, it seems that the Zieglers didn't stop dancing. According to Abby, Maddie was picked up from school and taken to the studio to learn part of the group dance and her solo, while all the other kids on the team were still at school. Melissa says that even when the girls got sick, they never missed dance classes. It was common knowledge at the studio that the kids would get in huge trouble if they didn't attend classes on Mondays, which were their days off of filming. Even though Abby didn't show up herself, she'd still check attendance to make sure that the kids were working in her absence.
This is where the girls used to take ballet 3 times a week at like 8:30 in the morning.
Maddie's mother went to the school, picked her up, brought her to the dance studio where she learned her solo without any cameras there. She learned part of the group dance without anybody else being there.
The girls did get sick. They weren't allowed to miss class on Mondays because it was like the rule, you were in big trouble. Even though Abby never came to dance on Mondays, she always knew.
There were other mothers who used to force their kids to dance in front of other people, even when the kids didn't want to do it. JoJo remembers that when she was a toddler, her mum used to have friends over at night, way past her bedtime. She would get JoJo up, stick a bow in her hair, and get her to perform her solo for them. What's concerning is that JoJo says that Jess did this to her all the time.
I did my first solo when I was 2, and my mom quite literally would have friends over and it'd be very late at night. I'd be sleeping and she'd be like, hey, they want to see your solo. And I'd be like, all right, put a bow in my hair and come down and dance.
Oh my God.
All the time.
Cathy says that during her initial Dance Mums audition, Vivi was hungry and grumpy, so Cathy told her that she wasn't going to feed her until she showed the producers her Sugar's dance step. And Elliana says that Yolanda used to make her go up to street performers and challenge them to dance battles.
As I was concluding my interview, I was kind of irritated because Vivi wouldn't do anything. And I looked at her and I said, honey, just get up and show the guy that you know how to do sugars. I'm getting up and I'm like, Vivi, honey, are you hungry? And she, And I said, I'm not going to feed you unless you show the man sugars.
When I was little, my mom would always make me go whenever, you know those street performers in like New York? Like on the street, she would make me go and like dance battle them and I hated it. I was like, please get me out of here.
Next, let's explore applying pressure. Several of the mums on the show put an exorbitant amount of pressure on their children to try and make them rise to the occasion and win dance competitions. Elliana says that her mother was very competitive. She says that for a while, the show altered their relationship because Yolanda would criticize Ellie a lot for her mistakes. The environment apparently pitted them against one another. Ellie admits that even after the show had ended, Yolanda stayed in the competitive Dance Mums mindset. Furthermore, Yolanda was very forceful with trying to get Elliana to contact choreographers to create solos for her.
The show, in a way, for like a while, really kind of altered our relationship, I would say. Because she would advocate for me a lot, but there would also be times where she'd be like, she messed this up and she messed that up, and she started to get like that out of the show as well too. She stayed kind of in that dance mom mindset, like after the show. We felt like we were put against each other almost.
My mom made me write a handwritten note to this man. No way. That was in Newville, Bellevue, saying, "Mr. Travis, I love you, I'm marrying you. Like, can I please?" A handwritten note, Ken's. So after class, my mom hands me the note. She's like, "Go up to him." So I went up and I gave him the friggin' note. And I didn't want to. I literally cried to my mom the night before, like, "Mom, please don't make me."
You've never had a Chantel Aguirre solo?
My mom sent like a 10-paragraph DM to her on my account.
Christi has recently admitted that she used to put too much pressure on Chloe. She says that back then, she genuinely thought that if Chloe got out of her own head, she would dance better and Abby would be less mean. Abby, on the other hand, believed that Chloe would get flustered simply because Christi was a micromanager. She thinks that Chloe felt a lot of pressure from her mum to win, and that she had to live up to her mum's organisation.
I see Chloe getting picked on, and I know what she's capable of doing. She couldn't get out of her head to do it, but in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, if you just do what I know you're capable of doing, all of that other bad stuff will stop. That is a huge mistake that I made.
Her mother always had the kid dressed immaculately. She always had everything she needed, like a micromanager. I just think her mom thinking so much for her and making sure every detail was perfect, the kid felt that the dance had to be perfect too. Her mother wanted her to win, needed her to win. She just would freak herself out.
Evidence number 3, reveling in drama. While several cast members found fighting to be a stressful and frustrating part of the show, others seemed to embrace it wholeheartedly. Melissa says that new mums trying to get on the team would often act crazy at auditions to try and get onto the show. This is why mums who joined the team in later seasons, such as Ashlee and Jess, stirred as much drama as they possibly could. Brynn says that regardless of what anyone thinks, this was her mum's job, and that the mums would often have to fight and then act as though nothing had happened. She claims that this strange dynamic messed with her head for a while.
People would come from all over the place, and moms would act crazy because they thought if they acted crazy, they would be on the show.
People thought that, like, my mom and I went on the show to just, like, on everyone, which, like, that wasn't, like, you don't understand, like, that was our job. Like, our job was to literally come in and stir drama, which, like, I would never choose to do in actual real life.
It was, like, really hard for me to, like, see all the fights that went on, which I'm sure some of you have seen. Like, some of them were pretty bad. And then to just, like, after act like nothing happened. It would just like mess with my head.
No.
Elliana has said that her mum didn't like fighting with the other mums, so she ended up just causing drama with Ellie in order to please the producers.
She even thought, I'm not going to yell at the other moms, because then she started coming at me, not because, she was genuinely mad at me. She was like, well, I have to create drama somehow, so she'd be like, oh, no, like, that's always like the worst you've done in your life, like, we're literally, like, going home.
Jess says that it was hard being the new mum on the team, because it meant that she had to argue to make good TV, and then at the end of the day, no one wanted to talk to her. And yet, other cast members seemed to think that she was all too happy to go along with the producers' narratives. When they made it look like Kira threw a water bottle at Jess, she played along with the storyline during the reunion episode, because she wanted to make a compelling storyline. And perhaps Jess really did love all the drama. After all, JoJo has claimed that it didn't take much to make Jess mad, and Abby was under the impression that Jess wanted to be her. In spite of all the fights and stress that came with the show, Jess is the one cast member who unreservedly says that she loved being on Dance Moms, and that she misses it.
And so he comes in and he's like, well, when you got mad at Tess, well, we were able to, and he's like all excited, we were able to cut it and make it look like you got mad at Jess and you threw the water bottle at Jess. Jess is all on board, Jess is like, loves the show, loves everything about it. Like, I'm all in, let's make this the best TV ever.
I thought my mom was gonna be furious. And if you know my mom, it doesn't take much to get her furious.
What would I dress her up like for Halloween? Me, of course. She wants to be me. Oh, no, I know you miss it. I know you miss it.
We just talked about this.
When I saw you were doing this podcast, I'm like, oh, somebody misses being on camera.
I love Dance Moms. I loved it.
4. Entitlement. There have been situations and accusations in which the show's mums have displayed a nasty sense of entitlement. Kira posted to her social media in 2020, publicly shaming a 19-year-old who worked at Dairy Queen for using bad language when her son showed up not wearing a mask. Kira put up such a fuss that the employee got fired.
I had a mask and Jet had a mask, but I gave Jet's mask to Jess so that he can then stay in the store. And they rudely told my 4-year-old to get the out. The employee did.
That's what you just said.
19 years old, chill.
I have a 19-year-old, and I would never have somebody say, get the out to a customer.
She has fired the employee.
Ashlee has declared that out of the whole Dance Mums cast, Jesslyn was the one who seemed to truly not want her and Brynn to be there. She says that it's quite ironic that JoJo's platform was built on an anti-bullying message, all the while Jess was excluding Brynn from things.
Jesslyn was never nice to us. Never nice to us. Never invited Brynn to anything. Jesslyn's the only one I ever felt like truly did not like us and didn't want us there, which is funny because JoJo's platform is anti-bullying.
Actress Jamie Adler was interviewed by Abby, where she claimed that a mum from the show tried to get all the kids besides her own to eat Oreos before an audition. She and Abby believed that the mum hoped that the Oreos would get stuck in their teeth and ruin their chances at booking the job. Abby also insists that one of the original mums sat upstairs and asked why the daughter of Abby's secretary, Sandy Powers, would be placed in a group with their kids, insinuating that the kid was too ugly to dance with them. That would be a horrendously entitled thing to say. But we do have to keep in mind that Abby does like to exaggerate and lie when it comes to talking about the original cast, so who knows if this is an accurate story.
I go to a casting, it was a really cool, a callback. This child and her mother were in the waiting room, and the mum nudges the child and she's like, take a cookie. And you have this jar of cookies in the middle of the room and they're Oreos. And you know how Oreos get all black in your teeth.
Yes.
I was like, no, let's wait. My mum comes into my room and it's like, Jamie, you didn't tell me this story. Well, like, how did you know not to take a cookie? And I go, haven't you ever watched Dance Mums? I mean, Christi, like, come on.
She was trying to get other kids to eat cookies so their teeth would be all gross.
So then her child would get the role, yeah.
She heard one of the OG moms, as they refer to themselves, saying, why is that kid in my daughter's group? She's ugly.
And finally, we have parentification. Some of the parents of Dance Mums have pushed their children into stardom in the hopes that their children would be able to provide for them. As a result, several of the girls were parentified at a young age, providing for their parents and taking on the financial burdens of their families. Elliana purchased a house last year with the money that she earned from her social media work. In a recent interview, Abby explains that Elliana pays the bills and put a roof over her mum's head. Elliana defends her mother, saying that Yolanda does help her out. At the young age of 16, providing a house for her family should not be Elliana's responsibility, regardless of whether or not she wanted to do it for them. This kind of role reversal in parent-child relationships are unhealthy and puts a lot of undue pressure on the child to keep bringing in money.
You're 16 years old, you have your own house, you pay your bills.
It's true.
Yes?
Yes.
You put a roof over your mother's head.
Well, she helps out.
No, I'm teasing.
Similarly, we know that JoJo shares a bank account with her mum. Even though she claims that 15% of everything that she earned as a kid went into a Coogan account that she could access when she turned 18, her parents still have unrestricted access to millions of her hard-earned dollars. She says that her family would never do anything shady with her money, but the fact that she rose to fame and became the primary breadwinner of her family simply has to have altered the family dynamic.
I'll get my mom's card.
Shopping trip. Your mom's card?
Yeah, but it's the same account. We just have 3 cards for it. For me, everything, 15% of every penny I ever made went into my Coogan account. Oh, wow. Only I can get that money out. I mean, I have an incredible family around me who would never do anything shady. There's no laws.
Did you
for
get to
it.
keep the major percentage of what you made?
Of course, yeah. My family is so great. It's been fun to figure out as I'm getting into an adult, like how we want to streamline it a little bit.
Maddie has explained that her parents never talked to her about money. She describes the situation of providing for the adults in her life as being kind of weird. Like JoJo, she says that she loves doing that for her family. But once again, it should not be her job to fund her parents' lifestyle, especially since we know that Maddie had to step into a parental role as a child, making Kenzie's bottles and getting her ready for school at a very young age.
Our dad wouldn't wake up to get us ready for school, so I stepped in at 6 and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this for Kenzie.
My parents never talked to me about money either. Like, it was always a weird thing. And it's weird now, and I'm sure you feel this way. It's like so weird when now you're kind of the one providing for the adults.
Yeah.
It's like such a weird concept, and it gets kind of weird. Like, it just does. But I love being able to do that for my family, like, so much.
So what do you guys think? Do you think most of the mums on the show display these stage mum behaviours? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.